Hey YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are here to talk about this man, Michael Stanton, or as you might know him better, Giancarlo Stanton. We're here to do a little bit of a deep dive on him. I think there's going to be a pretty interesting case for him making the Hall of Fame. I got this card back from PSA in my last submission. It came back a 9. For those of you who follow this card in particular, they're pretty tough to come by in good condition. I'm actually very, very happy with a 9. This one is numbered out of 500, and I'm really happy to have this. Now, when I got it back, I really started thinking, do I think Giancarlo Stanton is going to be a Hall of Famer? And so I started doing some more research on it. I started looking at both the positives and the negatives, and I wanted to share them with you guys. And as well, I kind of want to get your take on it because if I'm honest, I'm not 100%, but let's dive into it. If you go to Giancarlo Stanton's baseball reference page, you will see this man was an MVP, 5-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger. He was an All-Star MVP. He was a home run derby champ. If you go down to his numbers, you'll see he's got a 44.7 WAR. I'd say for Hall of Fame numbers, I'd like to see somewhere around 60. So he's close-ish. The big thing here that I am noticing is that he just turned 35. Okay, so you try to think, like, how many more years do you think he's going to be able to continue hitting, 25, 30 home runs? Because last year he hit 27. His batting average was 233. His career batting average is 257. Career home runs, 429. And those are really the numbers that I really want to focus on right here, because as far as this goes, he could hit 500 home runs. That's really what this is going to be about. Okay? If you scroll down a little bit and you look at his numbers from when he debuted, right? He debuted at the age of 20. He played with the Marlins until he was 27. He was a 4-time All-Star through those 7 years. That was really sort of the high of his career. If you go to 2017, he had 59 home runs, and it was kind of quiet. Like, nobody really talked about it, right? He almost hit 60 home runs. He led the league since obviously Barry Bonds and all them until Aaron Judge. And nobody really talks about it because right now there's a lot of recency bias, and he's pretty much the DH on the Yankees, right? He'll play the outfield, he'll play right field, but he doesn't really play that much because he DHs, he's very injury prone. There's a lot of positives and negatives with him, which is sort of very polarizing, and I think definitely worth conversation, which is what this is about. So if you were to make a case against him, you would absolutely say he's had an injury prone career. He's missed a lot of time. I'd say probably about 3 years of time overall he's missed. He has played fewer than 120 games in more than half of his seasons. Okay, so that definitely raises a lot of questions about his durability and his longevity moving forward. Like I said, he's going into his age 35 season. So how many more seasons is he going to play? How many of them is he going to be healthy, right? He's also a pretty streaky guy. He goes into slumps for a long time, and then all of a sudden he heats up and he goes in fuego, okay? He doesn't really play a lot of defense, and so that's really going to hurt him as far as his WAR goes. From the time of like 2013 to 2017, he was possibly the best hitter in baseball. Okay, I mean, it was like him and like Mike Trout, but in the NL, it was Giancarlo Stanton, right? But since that time period, he's kind of slipped off, right? Due to a lot of injuries and sort of being overshadowed by a lot of guys now, like, let's just say, the big guys like Ohtani, Judge. There are a lot more guys who are hitting more home runs than he is. But what he has established is he has 427 home runs. Sorry, 429 home runs. So all he needs to get to 500 is 71 more. Now, is that possible? Right, so let's just say he stays healthy. And I almost hate saying that because there are a lot of people who, when they're making claims about somebody, like, yes, he can do it, and then they'll put the caveat, if he stays healthy. But in no one's case is it more true than Giancarlo Stanton because he needs to stay healthy to be a Hall of Famer. Now, if you watch the MLB Network, you'll see Ken Rosenthal doesn't think Giancarlo Stanton's a Hall of Famer. He's talked about it. He says he doesn't think that home runs are going to be enough to get Giancarlo Stanton into the Hall of Fame. He might be right. I don't know. Brian Kenny, same thing. Brian Kenny makes the case that says Giancarlo Stanton's not a Hall of Famer. But I will say Giancarlo Stanton is an elite power hitter. Elite power hitter. There's something that, even though he's missed so much time and he's played way less, he still has the numbers. So that's got to say something, because when he is healthy and when he is playing, he's putting up numbers at a rate that are higher than anybody else who's even playing those games. Do you know what I mean? So if he had been healthy, he'd be over 500 home runs by now, maybe even, at or over 600 had he not missed so much time. So yes, he's also won the NL MVP in 2017. If you compare his statistics with Hall of Fame sluggers, he holds up really, really well. His slugging percentage and OPS plus metrics are super strong. And even while he's declining, he's still putting up 20 to 30 home runs a year. Now, if you guys don't forget, he also hit a ball outside of Dodger Stadium. His postseason numbers are incredible. His hard hit rate, off the charts. Nobody hits the ball harder than Giancarlo Stanton. And I mean, his first home run was a grand slam in a Marlins uniform. His first at bat as a Yankee was a home run. The biggest thing, I think, for Giancarlo Stanton is to get to 500 home runs. If he gets to 500 home runs, I think he's in the Hall of Fame. Because of this one fact. I cannot think of one player to have 500 home runs and not be on the juice that's not in the Hall of Fame. That's like the number. If you hit 500 home runs, you are in the Hall of Fame. So if he doesn't get in, he will be the first player to hit more than 500 home runs and not be in the Hall of Fame. And I don't see that happening. Maybe he won't be, first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think if he does hit 500, let's just say he improves his batting average a little bit. Maybe he plays a little bit of defense. Maybe he does something. Like if he could be postseason Giancarlo Stanton for even half a season or one full season, he would be like a shoo-in, I think. But there are a lot of questions here. Like, can he do that? Is he capable of doing that? You almost forget that this guy, he's not 40 years old. He's going to be playing his age 35 season. It feels like he's been playing forever because he's been in the big league since he's 20. So this is definitely a big case. Now, I'm sort of on the fence. I have this one card here of Giancarlo Stanton, and I don't know if I'm going to buy any more. I'm not sure if I'm willing to invest anything else into him at this point. And now I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you guys what to do. Do whatever you want. It's your money. You make your choices with it. I'm just here representing, I guess, the case for and against Giancarlo Stanton for whether or not he will be in the Hall of Fame. I certainly know that he's given us a lot of momentous home runs and just come up super clutch for his team. He went on a tear against everybody he played against in the postseason, right? Against the Royals, and then, just everybody, right? He was just on such a tear. So anyway, I'm going to leave this with you. I'm going to leave you guys with some of his highlights, and I would love for you to let me know in the comments if you think he is a Hall of Famer or not. Thank you guys so much for your time. I will see you guys in the next one. Happy card hunting.
High fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Melendez. Forget about it. It's gone.
You betcha, I'm about to.
And Stanton drives one deep left center. He'll watch this one fly. A booming home run, Giancarlo Stanton. And gave up A home run to Kerry Carpenter. That ball's hit well. Deep center field. Way back there. Giancarlo Stanton. A home run. Judge and Stanton go back to back. And the New York Yankees have grabbed the lead. Oh my goodness. Stanton, a high fly ball. Deep into left field. Up into the bleachers. Giancarlo Stanton connects. A 3-run blast.
Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate. Stanton golfs one way back there, scraping the sky and giving the Yankees the lead. You deliver this time.